Nobody cared ever about Jontay Porter playing basketball, so to use him as bait for new eyeballs is a strategy. I don't get it. Like, he cheated the game, so we're going to reward him with a return to the game? Come on, man. Okay, Samaria, I think I want to give Jontay Porter Fumble of the Week. That's right, Jontay Porter, brother of Michael Porter Jr., who now plays for the Nets and who has been hooping, by the way. Jontay, as we all know, bet on himself, which is very illegal, and got caught, and is now facing upwards of 20 years in prison whenever he is due to be sentenced. But he just signed on to play in a new basketball league, playing for a team based in Seattle. And it's not just Jontay that's getting the Fumble of the Week, but it's also this team and this new league who is clearly trying to leverage the optics of Jontay Porter to have eyeballs on their league. Nobody cared ever about Jontay Porter playing basketball, so to use him as bait for new eyeballs is a strategy. And I just can't understand why people have to go to the depths of hell to try to elicit some sort of public attention in this fashion. I don't get it. Like, he cheated the game, so we're going to reward him with a return to the game? Come on, man.
You know, it's really interesting that you had that point of view, because I feel like you're usually like a marketing guy. You usually want people to capitalize off of craziness to get eyeballs, right? That's usually your stance.
Hell no. Who told you that?
We talk multiple times a week.
Sometimes I joke. I say certain things in a joking manner.
Oh, okay.
Yo, stop! Don't play with me.
I mean, I can understand, right? This is my issue, is that I don't like to give people second chances, right? So once you've done something crazy, I'm like, yeah, we're done with you. However, I'm gonna be a contrarian today. I do feel like, you know what, he has a few weeks of freedom. You know, let him play a little basketball in this league that we've never heard of. I don't know how much they pay over there. You said he's going to be in Seattle. I don't necessarily see he's getting his hoops ready for maybe the prison league, because I know that you.
Yes, I hoop in prisons. Listen, the concrete that the prisoners play on is very unforgiving on the knees. Pause if necessary. But just want to let young Jontay know that to take care of his body, his lower portion, because prison basketball is different than the plushness of the NBA thing. I just want to know who else is playing in this league, though. Like, it's crazy that out of everybody else that's playing, I haven't heard anybody else's name be made public. And so obviously they are intentionally withholding other names. Maybe they don't have filled rosters yet, whatever. But to use Jontay Porter rather as an enticement to lock into this league is just a crazy strategy. Like, no one cared when he played for the Raptors. Nobody.
I don't think that they have any names, to be honest with you. I mean, I think this is like below the G League. So these are probably people who are not willing to go overseas and play. So he's probably going to be the best player in the league. And that is the reason why he is the marquee guy.
Well, I'm not so sure about that. I'm sure he couldn't go overseas because I would imagine he had to forfeit his passport. But there's a lot of players who can play basketball at a really high level who never made it to the NBA. I always say that there should be some sort of alternative league to the NBA because there is so much basketball talent in the world today. You can look at there's a slew of one-on-one leagues that take place right now. I actually hosted one during All-Star Weekend out here in LA, but there are a lot of guys who play in these one-on-one leagues or two-on-two leagues, and just other subdivisions of basketball that are extremely talented. The talent pool in basketball is very deep. So they could have some names that maybe people think are recognizable or that people know, but for whatever reason, they've withheld those. Like, I couldn't imagine a guy that John Wall brought up earlier this week in Akil Carr from Baltimore, who was known as the Crime Stopper. If you get that kind of person in a league, I'm more inclined to watch. You can go get Tyreke Evans, right? Tyreke Evans, who was suspended from the NBA for a long time and actually is technically allowed back in the league at this point. I think he had a major drug failure that kicked him out of the league for a while. Same with OJ Mayo, who went to USC, was in the league for a long time. Those are two former lottery picks, who who have been banished from the NBA, who I would imagine can still get buckets. They're elite players from high school, college, and then on the NBA as well. And with Tyreke Evans having won Rookie of the Year one year. So there are a lot of people out there who are not a part of the NBA who once were, who could be much bigger draws than Jontay Porter. What I'm saying is we didn't care about him before he was arrested. And so like I don't even know what his game is. I don't even know what his game translates to ever, but especially now having spent the last couple of years fighting for freedom.
Okay, so my fumble is a little bit different. We're going to pivot to football. I'm going to give it to Lane Kiffin, right? And I think, unfortunately, it is time for him to pay for his crimes. I have been very indifferent when it comes to Lane. I haven't said anything. Even the shorts that I've done covering him, I've just kind of given the facts. I've never given opinions. I did say the one time where he said like the Make Baton Rouge Great hats. I thought that that was in poor taste. And I just felt like he should get off social media. But we know that the NFL Combine is this week, and one of their former defensive tackles, Xavier Harris, I believe is his name, said that Lane told them in a meeting, don't listen to the rumors, I'm not leaving. And then, of course, we know that he left, which is, I mean, people do that. That didn't even necessarily bother me. I think it's more so the way that he has antagonized the Ole Miss fans as well as Ole Miss coaches on social media. Like, just bow out gracefully and go and sit in Baton Rouge in your office and plan for this upcoming season. Why do you have to repost everything? Why are you going back and forth with the women's basketball coach? Like, you know what I mean? It's too much. And then on top of that, you told these kids you wasn't leaving, and then you left. And if you remember a couple of weeks ago when I had my tinfoil hat on, he might have been allegedly the one that released, you know, those documents showing how much people were getting NIL.
I mean, so what did he technically do wrong? He's antagonizing people. Is that basically it?
Yeah, I just want him to just chill.
Oh, yeah, I mean,
because I just feel like we've seen this happen before. The biggest one is Nick Saban when he left Miami in the night. He said, I'm not leaving. He left. He didn't spend the next 6 months antagonizing Dolphins fans. He just focused on where he was going. And I just want Lane to just be a little bit more mature in his approach, especially when we keep hearing these stories come out, because it just doesn't look good.
Okay. I mean, I'm sure that there are conversations that are had in his orbit that makes him feel like he needs to respond to certain things, right? We don't know the conversations or the rumors or the negative things that get said about him. And I'm kind of at this stage of life, sometimes I don't want to be quiet about people who talk negatively about me. And if you give me an opportunity to jab at you and I'm more known than you, or I have more reach than you, then it's at my discretion whether or not I choose to invoke my ability to create a reaction based on my popularity. And I'm not mad at people doing that from time to time. I sometimes, like, you got to take shots at people who are taking shots at you. Just because my shot comes in public and yours was in private doesn't mean that I'm any more or less wrong than you. And I think that sometimes we don't know all this backstory of what goes on, and people respond to things publicly that we may not be in the know about. And you look crazy when that happens. It happened to me recently, actually. I on the tennis court.
Okay, what happened?
So this guy who we used to play tennis, right, together. It's like a collective of us, maybe about 3 or 4 brothers. And this one guy was like really weird, and he was like very, very emotional. And he would try, like, it was just tennis, and he would like try to befriend me in a way that I didn't desire to be friends with him. And he would like reach out, and I think at the core of what he was trying to do was like kind and nice, but I didn't want that kind of friendship with that man. Nothing like sexual or romantic. Anyway, so he got really upset one time because he was like, you don't share with me. I'm like, I don't know you, so why do I have to share with you? Anyway, so this past week, I go play tennis somewhere else, and he happened to be there. And he's avoiding the court that I'm playing on. We're doing rotating live ball. So the winner's court is the winner's court, but he's intentionally avoiding my court. And so I end up being like, you know what? I want to come over there and kick his ass. And when I move over to his court, he then leaves that court. And I had to let him know that he was a, and I said, hey, your man right there is a, but nobody had the backstory for his behavior in the past. So I looked crazy because I dealt with it publicly, whereas he was being sassy. I might have looked crazy to the outsiders, but to those that know, they knew I was in the right.
That's odd. Anyways, we also we've talked a lot this week about the USA men's hockey team, and I would like to give them Fumble as well as President Trump. However, an anti-fumble is Jeremy Swayman. So he was also on the team. He came out, I believe yesterday, and said that they should have handled that differently. They should have responded differently in that moment. Shout out to you. I just wanted to give him a quick shout out because I think that is what most people were wanting.
Cool, man.
We
Cool.
We didn't handle that right.
Shout out to him. I guess. I don't know. You want to take us out of here? People care too much about things that don't matter, but whatever.
That's what we do, Rodney. Like, that is our job.
No, it's not.
Is to care, or is to discuss things that people care about.
No, not me and you. I just mean that people were so invested that they were like waiting for an apology, as if that apology was going to change anything about their day. Like, I don't, whatever. Even if you offend me, you're not obligated to apologize, because how I handle the offense is way more important than you offending me. And I don't rely on anybody else to give me peace of mind about being offended. It's on me. Everything is internal. I'm tired of people trying to put external factors onto how they feel about themselves. No, like, whatever, you offended me. Now I just know I can't rock with you.
But you all drop down in the comments and you let us know your thoughts on our fumbles. Do you feel like it is Jontay Porter joining this new basketball league before he goes to prison for a very long time? Or is it Lane Kiffin continuing to keep up mess on social media? Drop down in the comments and let us know.
For sure, man. And also make sure you stay up with our newsletter. The link is in the bio. We keeping you abreast of all things going on in the world of sports and where Samaria gets these athletic tops from. She's got a lot of them.